evening, this is FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. In this bulletin, police investigate links between violent robberies and illicit drugs. Court dismisses strikeout petition in case of opposition MP Mikaele Lewere. And Prime Minister Vorengen Bainimarama launches Green Growth Framework. Police have made a major breakthrough in the past few days in relation to a spate of robberies in the Western, Eastern and the Southern Division. They've also revealed the link between the crimes and illicit drugs like methamphetamine. Chanel Sivan with this exclusive story.
Police have been working around the clock to apprehend suspects who have terrorized families in robberies on their properties. Chief of Intelligence and Investigations ACP Henry Brown says initial investigations show some level of drugs involved in these crimes.
Most of these perpetrators or the suspects or the accused are in the early 20s. Most of them are unemployed. And the linkages we see is just standing out is the receivers, who are not only receivers of stolen property, but there is a certain link to drugs.
Last Thursday, police raided a shop in Nambua, Suva, and arrested Rahesh Chand for allegedly receiving items stolen in several robberies in the Southern Division. In the process, police also recovered crystal substances believed to be illicit drugs from the shop. Another raid was conducted at a taxi driver's house in Vatuanga, Suva, and police found illicit drugs, namely methamphetamine and marijuana. Joseph Fong was produced at the Suva Magistrate Court this afternoon, charged with unlawful possession of illicit drugs. Fong was granted bail after the police prosecutor did not object to the bail application by the defense lawyer.
We have intelligence of hard drugs being available, but we have never confirmed that through evidence that it is either manufactured here.
Brown says they also know that those behind the spate of robberies are working in groups or subgroups.
A member of this group can always cooperate with members of other groups. That is why you see that the two appearing in Nandi will also be joined with some other charges here in Suva, southern areas. So it appears to be organized in a manner which we are trying to break.
Brown says their response time in solving crimes is getting better and they are one step further in cutting the market. He says they are now after the receivers who are creating the market for the robbers. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The Director of Public Prosecutions Office has released statistics on serious sexual offences currently before the courts. There were 48 separate incidents involving 28 accused persons in the month of May alone. Edwin Nunn reports.
This is the first time the Director of Public Prosecutions has made these figures public. In May alone, there were 35 cases of rape, 6 incidents of defilement, 4 indecent assaults and 2 attempted rapes.
We need to know how much of this is going around, and I think what people should be very much aware is that this is not something new, this kind of figures, because if you work in the community and so on, there's a lot of it going on. But one of the things I'd like people to do is to recognize and to take responsibility for reporting and support of victims.
There is also a case of abduction of a person under 18 years of age with the intent to have carnal knowledge. There were 27 victims, of whom 16 were under the ages of 18 years. 6 of them were between the ages of 6 and 12.
Data is very, on these issues, on gender-based violence, apart from groups like the Crisis Center, it is very difficult to get these out of government offices, the police and so on. We haven't had any data coming out of the police force. So I think this is a great move forward, what the DPP's office has done.
The Fiji Women's Crisis Center says it would be interesting to compare these statistics with actual reports filed at various police stations. Shamima Ali believes there would be a huge difference because many cases fall through due to various reasons. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
The application to strike out the Attorney General's petition challenging the awarding of a parliamentary seat to opposition MP Mikaele Lewere after the death of Ratu Viliame Tangivetawa has been denied. In the case before the High Court's Court of Disputed Returns, Lewere has also been ordered to pay a cost of $1,000 to the AG's office. Lead counsel for the AG's office, Devanesh Sharma, told the court that under the provisions of the constitution, Lewera disqualified himself when he resumed his employment with the Fijian Teachers Union. Sharma noted that a person who has held public office is ineligible for election to Parliament for 4 years after ceasing to hold that office. The case resumes tomorrow morning with the Electoral Commission and Lewera's lawyers to their case. Fiji has become the first country in the region to have a green growth framework. The framework will form the plan for the country's development to build environment resilience, reduce poverty, build economic growth and build resilience to the anticipated adverse effects of climate change now and into the future. Akusita Tale has more.
After about a year of planning and discussions, the Green Growth Framework is now a public document. Speaking at the launch last night, Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama said the framework will be at the core of national development plans that are currently being formulated.
We are all striving, to a greater or lesser extent, to strike a balance between our overwhelming desire to exploit our resources to raise the living standards of our people and the overwhelming imperative to utilize those resources in a sustainable manner and protect them for future generations.
While there are some things people can't control, such as the threat posed by sea level rise caused by climate change, the framework can be used as a guide to achieve sustainable development.
I encourage every Fijian to read this document because I repeat, the struggle for sustainable development is a struggle that can only be won with a unified national response. Every Fijian playing their role no matter who they are, where they come from in Fiji or how old they are.
The Green Growth Framework has been translated into the Itoke and Fiji Hindi language, and everyone has been encouraged to familiarize themselves with the document and support it. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
6 more workers will be departing for New Zealand tomorrow to participate in the pilot program under the NZ Recognised Seasonal Employer Scheme. This is the third and final group to make up the 30 candidates for the program. The candidates, including 2 female and 4 male, took part in the pre-departure training which ended today. Employment Minister Chiyotu Konrote says the program was accused of being militarized earlier. However, that is not the case.
The program is employer-driven. We select the people, and employers in New Zealand and Australia will come and pick. And because of the fact that they pick 24 men, now 28, the remaining 40 join them. I'm so happy that we managed to send 2 young women with this last part.
This to be a really good opportunity to find fees to further my studies. So that's the main reason why I actually chose this path.
And the 6 workers have been selected by Wingate Sea Freight and Pickhawks Bay Incorporated. Coming up, Insect Museum launched at Coronivia Research Station.
Ya vino pale kwa chuma ni moshi kwa kwenda bula FM namba 2 na siri na ngona ni ndende manda ke central rental sapo ke na rusu ni minichi me va na koloko ni sabola
oya wa tisani dalai
ngona ya moshi don
nama kikirau mena tolu kene bitu ena via kabi moliti kene porombuka
goria na lali ne kabi bula FM namba 2 na siri
Welcome back to FBC News. The Ministry of Agriculture has opened a new insect museum in an effort to protect plants. Speaking at the commissioning of the new museum, Minister for Agriculture Inia Seruiratu says insect samples will be collected, curated and preserved for pest identification. Ali Kimbia has more.
At present, there are thousands of specimens in the museum collection which need urgent attention in order to preserve and maintain them for future references.
Curation and preserving is one of the very important functions of the plant protection section, as it provides diagnostic and advisory services on insect and plant diseases to farmers, institutions, stakeholders and general public to increase crop production.
Seri Ratu says the museum will also help workers at the Ministry of Agriculture carry out the investigation on insects that damage root crops and other vegetation.
The outcome of this new development is enormous, as it will provide quality, cost-effective and timely research data for pest and disease diagnostics for clients.
It is anticipated that the importance of this museum will be increasingly realized by stakeholders and overseas counterparts, as well as improving the quality and efficiency of pest diagnostic undertaken in the laboratories. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
A permanent pipe structure at the 4 Miles Bridge in Namboa Suva will be constructed after the pipe laying project at the Namboa pump station is completed. Water Authority of Fiji Chief Executive Opatea Ravai says they will soon announce the contractor for the project. Savaira Tambua has more.
The temporary main sewer pipe has been in place since late last year after the older structure was damaged by debris brought down the river by heavy rain. Water Authority of Fiji CEO Opatea Ravai says a new permanent structure will be going up in the future.
The new pipe will be a bigger pipe and also the bridge crossing for the pipe. That's going to be advertised shortly, and we hope to receive the tenders and have it open for at least 2 months.
Ravai also says WEF is doing all it can to address the foul smell at the bridge.
We've added odor control chemicals. We also in the process of doing what we call odor scrubbing, and that again is a temporary fix until we continue the transportation of this wastewater to Kinoya by the construction of this pipe and the pipe support structures.
Ravai would not comment on the cost of constructing the new main sewer pipe at the bridge. Savaira Tambua, FBC News.
2 former employees of the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority have pleaded not guilty to charges of bribery at the Suva Magistrate Court today. Avinesh Lal and Preetham Singh are alleged to have collectively obtained $15,000 from a businessman in March this year. Singh on the same day allegedly obtained another $7,500 from the same complainant. Lal, who was the auditor at FRICA, has been charged with 1 count of bribery. Singh, who was the tax officer, faces 2 counts of bribery. The Fiji Independent Commission corruption prosecutor told the court that they have a confession from both the accused and will be using it in the trial. However, defense lawyers have indicated to court that they will be challenging the caution interview. And a team from Korea is helping tax officers from the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority to become well-versed with international taxation issues. The OECD Korean Policy Center is conducting the workshop in Suva, and Fiji is the first country in the region to participate in it. Alan Stoltz reports.
A total of 60 staff of the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority will get to hear of the Korean experience in dealing with taxation matters over the next 2 days.
The KTC is trying to reach out to the Pacific countries. As a leading country in the Pacific region, I believe Fiji has stood out for more development, especially in the taxation field.
FERCA Chief Executive Officer Chitoko Tikolevu encouraged participants to learn all they can from the specialists. He added that the erosion of Fiji's tax base, challenges relating to e-commerce, and the pressure to deliver the best to government are some of the issues that the Koreans might be able to help Fiji with.
Economies and tax base may differ in sizes, but our issues and the principles of taxation are the same.
Tikolevu added that as a small developing nation, Fiji relies on bigger nations such as Korea to build capacity.
The digital evolution has made the world smaller, and the authorities are saying that they need to improve upon their services, processes and systems in order to effectively serve their customers. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
Local singers will be acknowledged for their contribution to the music industry in the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation Procera Music Awards. The awards night will be held in Suva on the 13th of this month. FBC Events Coordinator Serafina Wedlock says they hope the event will encourage local artists to take their music to another level. Procera Music CEO Mohammed Akif says 20 artists will receive awards in the 10 categories.
The first one is Bunde, Singing Ringi, Choir, Gospel, Bhajan, Kirtan, Lokgit, Filmi, Best Composer, Best Entertainer, and one award from FBC, which will be Today FM homegrown artist.
Tickets for the awards night are $60 each and are available at Prosero Music Shops and at the FBC House in Suva. And sports now, here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Amrita, and good evening. Coming up in sports, Verivo still over the moon after scoring Fiji's lone goal against World Cup favourites Germany, and preparations for Fiji table tennis on track for Pacific Games. This and more after the break.
छू 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 हे हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची, इट्स हॉट।
A day after making its debut on football's biggest stage, and the Vodafone Fiji under-20 side were back at training today. However, the highlight overnight was Fiji's lone goal in the 8-1 loss to Germany, scored by Rewa rep Josefo Verivo. The Tailevu rugby side has a daunting task this weekend, hosting Skipper Cup leaders Suva. The Inokemale coach side has yet to register a win in the first 2 rounds of competition and find themselves at the bottom of the points table, while Suva share lead with Namosi and Nandi with 9 points. The Suva Tailevu match will kick off at 3 p.m. on Saturday at Ratudakambau Park. In other games on Saturday, Nandi takes on Tavu at Gavi Park. Nandronga host Madhuwata at Lawanga Park. Naitasiri faces Ovalau at Nassau Park. Northland meets Lautoka at Gatwood Park, while Namosi and Vatukola battle at Thompson Park. The Fiji Tennis Association is confident its player preparations for the Pacific Games are well on track. National coach Sachin Reddy made the comments following a good outing at the Fiji Open Tennis Tournament over the weekend, which he used to gauge his reps ahead of the regional games. Josephine Navula reports.
Players were pitted against some of the top seeds from Australia and New Zealand at the Fiji Open Tennis Tournament. Coach Sachin Reddy was impressed with the preparations.
It's all about the training and how committed they are and how dedicated they are. I'm pretty much sure that these guys are doing all they can, the best they can to perform and to make Tennis Fiji happy and hopefully bring medals for the PNG Games.
A month out of the Pacific Games, Reddy believes the players are ready for the regional event.
They're more mentally ready to play the matches, so they're playing more smarter. And in that case, with having both of those qualities in them, they're able to win matches, they're able to stay for long matches. Some of the matches are long, but they have the stamina and the energy to actually stay over and play. Sometimes the matches are 2 hours, 3 hours, but they're holding on good, they are strong enough. So, I mean, they should be expecting this one in the PNG.
The national tennis squad will be competing in another tournament this month in Nandi before leaving for Port Moresby. The Pacific Games will be held from July 4th to the 18th. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
Organizers of the 8th Bull FM Maras Volleyball Tournament are anticipating stiff competition at the event this year. Teams are expected to come out firing from the first game with an extra $50 up for grabs for each pool game win.
This was evident in the final of the women's, when the first time the trophy or the champion for the Maras Volleyball women's category was taken down to Lautoka. So this was an indication to us that the more incentives we give the players, the tougher the competition.
The Bull FM Maras Volleyball competition will be held in Suva on June 26th and 27th. Fiji triathlete Naundaku Linga will be one of the top contenders in the female division of the 2015 Suva Marathon. The Nandi-based athlete, who will be representing Fiji at the Pacific Games in July, is looking forward to participate again in the second year of the marathon in the capital.
Last year was my first time to do a 10K marathon, and it was a great experience. I've been to all over the country, all over Fiji, doing races, but I know, like, Super Marathon is the best, like, organized race in Fiji.
The Super Marathon was launched today and organizers are targeting 600 runners for the event, which will be held on the 8th of August. That is your sports for this evening. It's back to Amrita now with business.
The number of vacancies advertised in April this year has jumped to 10.3% compared to the same month in 2014. The Reserve Bank of Fiji's April Economic Review states vacancies rose in the community, social and personal services sector, construction and finance, insurance, real estate and the business services sector. The RBF review states the labour market improvements are due to a buoyant domestic economy. Gold, wood chip and electricity production went up in April, as did Vista arrivals, which saw a 7.5% increase. Investment loans saw a massive 75.2% increase in the first 4 months of 2015. Cloudy periods with a few showers prevailed over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, whereas fine weather prevailed elsewhere. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving over the Solomon Islands. Another trough affects southern Cooks. Maximum temperatures remained in the late 20s except for Lautoka, which reported 33 degrees. Expect temperatures to reach a low of 21 degrees in Nandi and 18 degrees in Ba tonight. Tomorrow's forecast: cloudy periods with brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Elsewhere, fine apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers. Now you can expect fine weather apart from a few brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands on Thursday. Recapping our headlines: police investigations have revealed the link between violent robberies and illicit drugs like methamphetamine. An application to strike out the Attorney General's petition challenging the awarding of a parliamentary seat to opposition MP Mikaele Lewere has been denied by the court. And Fiji has become the first country in the region to have a green growth framework that is aimed at restoring balance in development that is sustainable for the future. On to our poll question for this week: should retail opening hours be extended all over Fiji? Visit our FBC website to take part. Now you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizens@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. If you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or #FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Good night.